How's it going, everybody? This is a hotly requested video. The U32 tournament monster defenses that you can use to win your tournament bracket. I'm actually going to be giving you two different overlays to try and match more people's playstyle, so you can pick which one you think is to be best, or just pick the room elements that you kind of like the idea of and slap them on to hopefully help you come out ahead. Before we jump into them, though, I do want to give a big shout out to Ska, the #1 Crucible player, who did give us a terrible defensive team to lean into, and also showed us how we will be able to handle that team. So if you're worried about it, make sure you keep that option for offense. Alright, if you like this video, please make sure you leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell, and let's get into these monster defense teams. Alright guys, let's go over the first defensive option. I'm calling this the Odin build, the Odin option, whatever you want to call it. This is going to revolve around Odin being your primary defensive team here. But let's start talking about stage 1, alright? Special abilities cost 4 more, ultimate abilities cost 4 less, and that's going to really benefit a character like Kahori and a character like Shadow King. So this team revolves around both of them being really strong. We're also pairing them with Guardian to have an offense up, and then we have Emma, and we have Northstar rounding the team off. Emma and Northstar seem like they're out of place, but hear me out. If an enemy seems like Kahori, they're going to immediately try and go to their Immortal X-Men. Immortal X-Men don't get any sort of speed up on spawn. They get 5% speed bar from their cable, which is not very much. Between Emma's speed stat reduction and Cable's speed stat increase, your Northstar would still go first. Your Northstar, who you're going to want to make a skirmisher if you want to use this team, will put slow and disrupt on the enemy, allowing your Shadow King to go before the Storm. Shadow King's going to open up with ultimate. That is scary. After that, it should be Storm's turn. Maybe Storm goes before Shadow King. I'm not too sure. But even then, Storm has to open up with her ultimate. She cannot use her special to start this room, and so you don't get slow or trauma or stun on any of your characters. Instead, you get to absolutely open a can of whoop ass with your offense step Shadow King ult and your offense step Kahori ult, which is just devastating damage. Now, somebody could try and come in here and use Cabal on this, which is why we have Kahori as a fortifier. She would clear that opening vulnerable from the Iron Patriot. She would then throw an ult, use her basic, throw the ult again, and then do another basic. She would actually get 4 turns in this room because her ultimate with 4 energy less is only a 2-turn cooldown. Now, Leader does have 3 dodges, so there's a chance he would get away with it, but if you have a big enough Kahori and a big enough Shadow King, I'd be concerned with any sort of Cabal comp that doesn't have a super powerhouse on it, just getting absolutely mollywopped here. There is one team that would walk over this, though, and that's why we had to create 2 defensive options. Illuminati. A Captain Britain would come in and just demolish this, because Captain Britain not only would stop the Kahori, but he would stop the old school Emma from doing her stuff. So, kind of an interesting dilemma there. You'd have to kind of play that by ear if Illuminati's on offense, which is why we have a second option, which we're going to go over. I think it's pretty cool. This defense, though, I think would actually hold up quite well. We got the Uncanny Avengers now for stage 2, so X-Men characters count as Immortal X-Men and Uncanny. The Uncanny part and the Avengers part don't matter. I'm not sure why it's there. And I'm going to throw this team up here. There's a very particular reason I'm throwing this team. So we have a speed stat team, right? We have the Night Stalkers. They get crushed by Emma X-Men. She literally has the X-Men tag, right? So Emma X-Men could go with the Immortal team in this stage 2 and demolish it. But what I need from this stage 2 is I need them to pull the Nightcrawler. I don't want my opponent to have their enemy Nightcrawler on use, and if they don't use Nightcrawler here, I want them to pay for it. So that's why we have Pav coming in here. Pav, with his speed up, is going to do an attack that's going to put slow. He has ISOs that go out, just like Iron Patriot, so he's going to be hitting into an ISO attack, giving somebody speed up. If that speed up goes to somebody important, it could make a character like Blade go before Storm, and Storm has such little armor, a big Blade could one-shot a Storm here, and Immortal could lose, unless they have Nightcrawler. Then they're going to instantly win, which is fine. That's perfectly fine. That's what we want to happen. There's not much else that goes into this room. Are there other teams that will beat this besides an Immortal with Nightcrawler? For sure. That's going to come up. This is easily the most replaceable room. Let me know what you guys think about this room, and if you have any ideas that would help incentivize somebody to use their Nightcrawler here. And then we got the big room, the Turtle Shell. On defense, offense, all characters gain 50% max barrier. On spawn, barrier for 100% more. Gain 100% damage. And on allied death, barrier yourself for 100% of that character's max health. Odin Illuminati pre-taunt. Especially the pre-taunt in this room. Mephisto on offense has become kind of the cultural standard, at least where I play Crucible and where I see a lot of other content creators playing Crucible. And so you really need the pre-taunt there to make it more interesting, right? I'm not saying this is going to win by any stretch of the imagination. There's lots of Mephisto teams that can easily circumvent a pre-taunt and get it done from there. The reason I'm putting this in stage 3 and not in stage 1 is because that stage 1 shines the best here, and honestly, the Illuminati members kind of like having their specials. Stage 2, I think the Illuminati team is actually open to getting beat by Immortal X-Men, because you can bring a character like Nightcrawler, and you still get aspects of the Immortal team, like no taunt on spawn. Like, well, you get to send Captain Britain because you have the Nightcrawler. Like, no charges on Odin, so you don't have to worry about his him getting charges and then him devastating you with just not taking any damage, right? And he gets that increased speed. Old Man Logan would stop that. That's what I'm kind of... So I think there's ways that you could actually beat the Illuminati Odin team in stage 2, so I want to avoid that team. In stage 3, I think the barrier that Captain Britain will get will supersede the extra damage a character like Moondragon will get, because Moondragon's main damage in the burn attack where she takes out Captain Britain is normally because of her health pool. It's her ISO attack doing all the damage. So I think the extra barrier on Captain Britain will actually be good for him. So I don't think it's going to be as easy to snipe out a Captain Britain on this team. With that said, I do think the Mephisto could come in here and easily walk over this, which is why we have the interesting other stage 1 team here and hopefully the stage 2 trickery. But we'll see. So Odin Illuminati, I do have them on defense. Maybe they're not going to be as powerhousey as they were in the last season because of these stage rules. We're going to have to wait and see how that barrier comes into play. I also played around with the idea of putting Hela here. What would you guys think about that? Putting Hela here instead of Zuggernaut. Every time an ally dies, you get extra barrier. Of course, if they bring Mephisto, they're going to instantly win because they don't have to deal with a pre-taunt, but food for thought. Let me know what you guys think about this defense overlay. I think this is what I will run not the first day. I'm going to ping pong between the two, so my opponent needs to keep guessing because, I mean, Crucible's won basically in the offense-defense setup. Let's go talk about our second defense option. Oh, wait, before I go, let me talk about the offensive teams we have if we go with this setup. We have our Cabal team. We have our Old Man Logan. We have Omega Red Phoenix Force. We have Apocalypse. We have Super Skrull. We have Annihilators. We have Mephisto. We have Black Knight. We have so many offensive options with this setup, right? And the reason being is that stage 1 is uniquely formed to make sure that Immortal can't get in there and beat it. And encounter Cabal and stuff like that. Stage 2, there's nothing you do to protect it from Immortal, so don't waste your characters. And stage 3 is what it is. You could put your Black Knight in there instead of Juggernaut, but I think Black Knight might be really, really good to have on the defensive side, potentially for what we see in stage 1, or some other kind of Gohori team, or even against the Illuminati to make that attack a little bit easier if you have Mephisto. So lots of offensive options here for you to sink your teeth into. Okay, now let's go take a look at the secondary option. All right, guys, in the second defensive option I'm going to be offering up to you guys is going to be a Mephisto-based defense. So this is fun. While I was crafting that last defense overlay, somebody special came into the chat and was starting to riff with us, and that was Ska/Saw Owner, the #1 ranked Crucible player in the world, at least to my understanding. I think he's still there. And he brought up the fact that some people might be pulling Illuminati to offense for this, because Illuminati doesn't really seem to fit too good into these rooms based on what could be used to attack against them. And if that's the case, the stage 1 that we had put up there, not so great. So let's come up with a Mephisto-based defense that the Illuminati team wouldn't be able to walk over to make sure we're still getting some defense victories. I think we want to be balanced here. I think because of these stage rules, because there's only 3 and there's going to be so many different options, you really want to have one team that you can count on to get you at least 2 wins. And then you want to make sure that you're able to get full clears, because I think there's going to be some, I know there's going to be lots of things that are not full cleared just because of how powerful certain comps are. Let's start with stage 3 in this instance. So it's gain barrier, then we bury yourself on spawn, we gain 100% damage, and on ally death we refresh that barrier. Well, this is a pretty familiar team. So we got Annihilators with Super Skrull and Spider-Man Pav here. And the reason for this team is just we kind of want to bait out that Immortal X-Men team, or hopefully we baited it out in stage 2, and maybe they try and use Mercs for money here, right? Or maybe when they use their Immortal X-Men and they kill our old meta characters, that's the Pav and Super Skrull, that additional barrier that's going to go to Thanos and the Annihilators could lead to them sapping some efficiency off for us. These two stages are not meant to like hold up super well unless they make a mistake or unless these rooms are that much more impactful than we think they're going to be. But if somebody comes in here with, say, Old Man Logan and Dakin, Ares, and they try and cheap out on the attack for whatever reason, even though they have so many options for just 3 rooms, they could come into an issue where Pav puts an early slow out, hits into a vulnerable, gives speed up to somebody like Super Skrull, gets early exposed out there, endgame Thanos ulting you turn 1 with that 100% increased damage. We've seen what Thanos with extra damage can do from the last season. This is a pretty standard defensive setup. Again, nothing special, but it could cause some RNG issues. This is something that I think in a lot of brackets will actually catch people off guard if they're not aware. Stage number 2, that's the uncanny one where the Immortal X-Men characters they get so cool. They get as cool as they should have been for Crucible. And I'm going to lean into the Night Stalkers here. But because we're using Pav in Stage 3, I'm actually throwing over Scientist Supreme. We're not going to use Orcus here, so it doesn't matter, right? Once again, I'm trying to bait out the Immortal team in Stage 2 so they can't use it on Stage 3 and so they don't try it on Stage 4, Stage 1, which don't really matter. But the idea here is Scientist Supreme, if it's not attacked by a Captain Britain or an Immortal team, is going to put slow on the enemies, slow on her own team, and defense down on everybody. But when the Night Stalkers get slow, they flip it to speed up, right? So if our opponent hits us with a new school Emma, but forgets that we're going to be giving ourselves speed up when the Scientist Supreme stuff flips, could get themselves into some really, really hot water. If they hit us with Immortal plus the Emma, the new Emma, we just lose. And that's okay, because then we pulled something cool in that opinion. But we will not be pulling the Nightcrawler. That's not really something we can try and budget in here. But Nightcrawler being used in Stage 1 or 3 is not something we're worried about under this setup. So once again, pretty standard team we're throwing up in Stage 2 just to get something in there that will hopefully pull off the Immortal team and some clutch characters. Here's the big room. Now, here is the defense I think is going to be the defense to beat and could be the deciding factor in the totality of the U32. We'll see. It's going to be a long week of Crucible with people coming up with new nightmarish defenses. But with these stage rules and the powerhouses we currently have in the game, I think there's only one team that's going to beat the team we're about to talk about. And it's going to have Omega Red on it. So special abilities costing 4 more, ultimate abilities costing 4 less. We're going to be putting in a pretty similar team to my Kahori Shadow King team, but we're adding in Mephisto and 2 Cabal boys, okay? This is the Saltwater special. This is what he was talking about because it's going to cover a lot of holes, especially against just like full Illuminati. So once again, if they don't come in here with Captain Britain or the Immortal team, the speed bar that Kahori gets is just going to be absolutely monstrous. She's going to have the vulnerables that she'll be able to hit into because Iron Patriot's there. She no longer has to be a fortifier in this instance. She could be a raider. She could be a striker. She could be whatever you want her to be. Cabal after 2 hits, I don't think I'd be wanting to bring them in here either because she'll still get her first 2 turns. She just won't get her 3rd and 4th against Cabal. So this team has so much going on with it, right? Obviously, we have the Empowered from Mephisto. If somebody doesn't come in here and do at least 1 burn attack, they're walking into an offensed up Mephisto with additional damage from the Iron Patriot, plus a Shadow King possession ping, plus if any of that crits, Namor is going to give speed up to himself and to Iron Patriot, and good luck, nerd, all right? And if they do the burn attack, but they don't do it well enough, because the ultimates cost 4 less, our characters would get to their ultimates that much faster. They could walk into the exact same situation if they're not careful, all right? If they do 2 burn attacks here, and they try and hit this with Immortal after that, Immortal does not have their specials to start. We talked about this when we talked about the last defense, right? Now, it'll be a little bit different. Storm would still get to do her ultimate. Jean would still get to do her ultimate. And after that, Mephisto would go. And if Mephisto is hitting in with the extra damage from the Iron Patriot, and he's going to be hitting into exposed or invulnerable, which is why we have Striker on Mephisto. If he's got his ultimate, you could still see Immortal just get wiped off the board before they do anything interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of people that just don't clear this team, even after doing 2 burn attacks, so they don't take the follow-up seriously enough. I think this team is going to require 2 burn attacks and then Illuminati. I just wouldn't trust Illuminati to be able to survive the opening attack from Mephisto. Because remember, he'll have offense up, he'll have the extra damage. If there's no apocalypse, he's going to be hitting into vulnerables. That could just be dead people right out to get, especially with diamonds available on Mephisto if you were able to get him with that leaderboard there. So that is very, very, very scary team. However, there's this character coming to the game, and his free-to-play events on Monday. His red stars are actually already available. His offers are already available. I know 5 people that already have him at 7 red, 7 yellow, and that's Omega Red, Phoenix Force. I do think that after one burn attack, still got to do one burn attack. I think after one burn attack and you end it the second Mephisto does his ultimate, you let the match time out. Omega Red, Phoenix Force, and the Illuminati people would come in here and beat the crap out of this team. I do think that that is a distinct possibility because Safeguard won't be on the menu with Mephisto. Captain Britain would stop the speed bar that Kahori's going to get. Omega Red will put taunt on your Captain Britain because he's a protector, so there's no wasted speed bar there either. And your Black Panther Shuri can get a quick ability block on top of the Iron Patriot and the Shadow King, or at the very minimum Shadow King. Wherever Shadow King is, your Black Panther Shuri would follow to put an ability block on him. So that could be truly nightmarish. Very interesting stuff. I like this team. Let me know what you guys think about these 2 defenses we talked about. Oh, let's talk about offensive options. If for offense here, obviously you have Odin. So you have Odin to play around with. He just doesn't really fit well in any of the rooms after that, in my opinion. I suppose you can try and chuck him in to stage 3. But if you do that, I mean, as long as they can beat your Super Scrub, they can Immortals it and laugh at it, right? Yeah, just don't do that. Immortal would just walk over it at that point. Yeah, so Odin would be wasted on defense here. So you have your Odin. You don't have Cabal, but you have Illuminati now. You have Old Man Logan. You have Apocalypse. You have Black Knight. So you still have a lot of options to play around with to get through these rooms. Don't use New Warriors during this tournament unless you absolutely have to on like a final hit. Let me know what you guys think about these 2 defenses. How excited are you for U32 that starts tomorrow? I can't wait to play with you guys. Sunday evening, I will be streaming so we can experience the first round together. I don't know what overlay I'm going to be working with, okay? So you guys that I'm up against, don't think you can look at this video and know which one I'm going to go with. I could go with the one we see here. I could put Apocalypse with instead of Namor so that Mephisto gets even more damage. And you can no longer Black Panther Shuri ultimate ability block my Shadow King. And then what are you going to do, nerd? Right? So there's some things I could do to change this, but it would really hurt the offense. Maybe I'll turtle. Maybe we'll put Odin Illuminati up in stage 3. Who knows? We could do whatever we want to do. But it'll probably be one of these 2. Anyway, yeah, I'm up uphill battle for sure. We got Kel from Deez Panther. He's already level 105. Stocky's level 105. Hank is level 105. Apocalypse, he's going to be 105 for sure. Still below beta, that is Ceci. Damn it, he's 105. I really don't want to match him. I don't want to deal with that trolling. 134, 105. Miss Shores, 104. God, we're a bunch of poor people in this one. I thought there'd be more 105 people. I'm just kidding. All right, guys, let me know what you think about this. Let me know how you're feeling about the U32 tournament. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. Can't wait to experience with you. But for now, guys, stay happy, stay healthy, have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.